Welcome to this coaching video of the 2019 World Championships in Brazil. It was Heat 6, Fleet A. The wind is perfect for the A-rig. The water is choppy, so you can see the boats all sailing with maximum twist in both main and jib. Tacking is expensive. Let's have a quick look at an overview of the start, and then we'll go back and look in a little more detail. So here comes the fleet. The start is at 13 seconds, and there they go. Okay, let's bring them back to about 7 seconds, 6 seconds, which is about 7 seconds before the start. So you can see all the boats are nicely positioned. They're all sitting well controlled into wind. But note, there's starboard bias on the line. There's a huge clump of boats on the right hand side, but cunningly boat 39 and 72 and 30 and 28 are all down at the leeward end of the line, all with plenty of room to be able to accelerate into the start line. The challenge these guys are going to have is they're all going to creep up to the line because they all want to keep in front of each other, and then they'll only have probably 1 second to sheet their sails in and get off the line. And there's a huge risk of having a collision, a penalty, or just getting blocked out because you don't get off in the front row. And even worse, for a boat out here, he's going to get blocked out beyond the buoy. So let's take this in a couple of seconds. So here's boat 39. Now if you watch closely, so here we've got 5 seconds to the start, 4 seconds, and boat 39 is sheeting in his sails, as is this chap. All these guys are sitting head to wind, still unable to pull their sails in because they're bang on the line. And you can see here that 39 and 28 are some way back behind the line. So 39 is sheeting in, he's going flat out, and now here go the rest of the fleet. And somebody's caught on the windward mark. And you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boats, maybe 6 boats get pole starts, and then other boats are forced to tack away. So in summary, boat 39 and boat 29 probably have the best starts of the fleet. So here you see boat 39 is heading off to the left-hand side of the course. One of the challenges of starting at the right-hand end for these boats, here, and these sailing out on port, is they're being forced to the wrong side of the course. So let's let this play out a little more. At 40 seconds, you can see how well spread out the fleet is already. And apart from 39 and 28, these are the 3 boats that benefited the best from the right-hand end of the line. So that was 3 out of something like 13, 14 boats. So what that tells us is there's a 1 in 3 chance of getting a decent start when you start from a crowded windward end of the line, especially if the left-hand side of the course is favoured. Of course, if the right-hand side of the course is favoured, you do want to be at the right-hand side of the line. So within 40 seconds, the ranking of the fleet has been established. 39 and 29 are away on the left-hand side. These 3 got a really good start. The others have had to bail out on port tack. And as I mentioned, tacking in this water is really punishing, and you'll lose a couple of boat lengths. So they're going to be forced to do 2 tacks to these chaps who are going to have 1 tack perhaps to get to the mark. So let's watch the video play on a bit more. And you can see them sailing up nicely, boats having to bail out, but the leaders are all banging over to the left-hand side of the course. And shortly we'll see, just up here is boat 39. So you see how far to the left of the course they've come, and here's a shoreline which would suggest there might be a bit of tide out in the middle of the course. So the windward mark is here, that's the spreader mark, and these two marks represent the finish, so you can see the lie of the land. So we're about to see 39 tack for the mark. Here she goes, there she goes now, and in fact she's slightly overstood the mark, but you won't see that till a bit later. Now, just a little thing to observe here. This gives you an idea of how much twist these boats are carrying. So the booms are sheeted relatively central, but there's a lot of twist in the main. And if we can get a better picture, you can actually see how nice the slot is between the main and the jib on both of these boats. A really nice angle to see how they've set their boats up. All these boats have been set up immaculately. So we'll run on a bit and you'll see the boats heading towards the windward mark. A couple of starboard boats coming in. That's the spreader mark that they've just sailed by. And you can see now boat 39 is actually freeing off a bit because he's overstood the mark. So let's freeze there. So boat 39, and we can't see what's coming in on the right at the moment, boat 39 is in the lead. He's going to get round the mark just and escape. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boats that are going to be in trouble because they're coming into the windward mark on port tack, and that is not good news. So we'll play it through. Here goes 39 tacking round the mark, but look how close she is to those starboard tack boats coming in. And we know from our rules that anyone tacking in the zone have no rights when they go round the mark. So let's see. 39 gets around, 48 just tacks inside, and 35 kindly lets her go. But they both tacked, but watch 35 just sail straight over the top because the tacking boats are really struggling to get up to speed. Now these other guys coming in here are in real trouble because there is no room, and there's a queue of starboard boats coming in. So just thinking about how we might approach the mark, according to the tactical guide in the mind map, the best way to come in is to tack onto starboard at least 6 boat lengths away from the mark. So when you tack, you're outside the zone and you have rights over anyone who tacks inside the zone. And ideally, maybe just overstand the mark slightly so you can keep clear air and good speed and get round the mark and set yourself up for the spreader leg. Okay, carrying on, the only advice I can give on... Oh, we've got another little event to watch here. There's someone who's lost their concentration and who's gone head to wind. The only advice on the spreader leg is keep slightly high and keep clear wind. Now, ideally, you will have a plan when you come into the spreader mark, and you're either looking to go left or right of the run line or straight down the middle. Watch how the boats goose wing as soon as they've got round the mark. And here boat 39 was heading down on port, but decided to jibe onto starboard, either because the wind was more favourable or there might be a bit more breeze down the left-hand side, or he's looking for clear air. Everybody got round the marks cleanly, but look how spread out the fleet is already. There's a yellow boat doing a nice little dance back there. Okay, 39 is beginning to establish a nice little lead. And then the other boats are starting to track into the mark and get their position. So at this point, you need to know which mark you're going to round at the leeward end. There'll be two buoys, so you've got a choice of left and right. 39 goes for the left-hand mark. And then we get an interesting situation coming up right now. So these three boats are all going for Mark 3. And what it shows is the importance of being the inside boat. So when you come away from the mark, you're in front, you're dousing these guys with dirty air, and they're the ones that will have to tack away. So just watch what happens. Here we go around the mark. And the lead boat was actually quite generous because he did a fairly wide rounding, but 77 here was unable to live with it and shortly will be forced to tack away. And again, losing ground doing it. Now here's an interesting situation. We have a row of starboard tack boats here. Some of them are sailing in dirty wind. None of them are tacking. There is an argument to say if you're in this position, so if you're that boat and you've got clear room to tack, you want to put a tack in, get out and get clear air, and then position yourself to windward and tack back. What they do is they hold their line and then gradually, one by one, you'll see them start to tack out. There goes one, there goes another, there goes another and another. And this guy really drew the short straw because he tacked right in the lee of this boat. So on the second beat, the golden rule is get clear air, establish your line, your lane, and sail fast and keep out of trouble. There's no point getting involved in any dogfights. Keep moving, keep pointing high, sail your own race, sail according to the plan. And you'll know boats on this beat are sailing further out to sea. Some are trying their hand coming up the left-hand side in the hope there's going to be a shift, but they don't seem to gain against the boats out to sea. So we'll let this play as they go up to the second weather mark. There goes 39 tacking for the mark. Good lead. And again, you really want to be tacking 6 boat lengths away from the mark, so you have rights if there are any other boats around. Coming in on port is not a smart move. And here we see a couple of collisions, in fact a real pile up at the windward mark, which is another reason for giving the mark a slightly wider rounding. And the result of this, look at these two, their race is basically done there. They've got tangled up, they're dead. And then they almost sail into the fleet running downwind. So here on the last run, the boats are fairly well spread out. All they can do is sail fast and keep clear air and sail as close to the run line as possible or to their favoured side of the course. Boat 39 is a long way ahead now, and she's sailing up to the finishing line. Still some split decisions between the left and right hand gate, and you'll see an example here in a minute of a loss of concentration. Just give it a second. Here we go. So here's a boat, loss of concentration, did attack, didn't bear away enough, and got stuck in irons and lost 3 boats in the process. Then here are the leaders coming up to the finish. And there's very little you can do on the last beat. You might be able to pick off 1 or 2 boats, but you can see how spread out they are. And there's the leader crossing the finishing line. And don't forget, same rules apply when you come into the finish. If you come in on port and tack within the zone 4 boat lengths, you have no rights over anybody. So you don't want to have to do a turn on the finish if you come in on port and there's a starboard tack boat that's going to force you either onto the mark or force you to hit the starboard tack boat. That's the race. We'll let the other boats finish in their own time. So in summary, have a clear plan for the race. At the start, make sure you can accelerate before the fleet, if at all possible, like boat 39. Go fast in clear air and sailed unencumbered to execute your plan. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you did, please put a like or put a comment in the section below. Thanks very much. And my thanks to Hans Baumgartner and Milena Martinelli, who put the video together and shared it on YouTube. Thank you very much.